Hey everyone, welcome to the Mythic Metamorphosis channel. Today, we're diving deep into the sands of time and uncovering a fascinating aspect of ancient Egyptian culture. Their deities, specifically the ones who kept things hot and steamy in the Nile. That's right, get ready to explore the intriguing world of the Egyptian sex gods. Now, when we think of ancient civilizations and religion, we might picture strict rules and maybe a dash of, shall we say, prudishness. But the ancient Egyptians, they were different. They had a much more, let's say, open-minded approach when it came to matters of sexuality. So buckle up, because we're about to explore the stories of these divine beings, their influence on ancient Egyptian society, and how their legacy continues to tantalize us even today. From the passionate tales of Isis and Osiris to the seductive allure of Hathor, the Egyptian pantheon is rich with stories that reveal a culture unafraid to embrace the sensual and the divine. Let's kick things off with Hathor, often depicted as a woman with the head of a cow, or adorned with cow horns and a sun disk. Now, before you jump to conclusions, remember that cows, in ancient Egypt, symbolized motherhood and nourishment, making them powerful symbols of life and creation. Hathor was all about love, beauty, music, and, you guessed it, pleasure. She was the goddess who brought joy to the world, encouraging both spiritual and physical ecstasy. Temples dedicated to Hathor were often bustling centers of celebration and, dare I say, sensuality. Festivals in her honor were known to be quite lively, with music, dancing, and, well, let's just say, the ancient Egyptians knew how to have a good time. Hathor wasn't just about fleeting moments of pleasure, though. She was also associated with marriage and motherhood, representing the enduring power of love and commitment. Think of her as the embodiment of love in all its forms, from the passionate to the nurturing. She was a goddess who understood that love, in all its complexity, was an essential part of what made life worth living. Now you might be wondering, how did the ancient Egyptians honor a goddess like Hathor? Well, let's just say offerings of perfume, flowers, and maybe a few love poems were involved. So the next time you feel the warmth of a summer breeze or the thrill of a new romance, remember Hathor, the goddess who taught the ancient Egyptians that life is meant to be enjoyed in all its passionate glory. Let's delve into a story that's a bit more complicated. This is the tale of Osiris, the god of the underworld, rebirth and fertility. Osiris' story is a wild ride. He was a beloved king, killed by his jealous brother Set. Talk about sibling rivalry, right? Set chopped Osiris' body into pieces and scattered them across Egypt. But don't worry, this story has a happy ending. Osiris' wife, Isis, gathered his remains. She pieced him back together, essentially resurrecting him. This act of resurrection held deep symbolic meaning. It represented the cyclical nature of life, death, and rebirth. Osiris became the ruler of the underworld. His ability to father a child with Isis solidified his connection to fertility. Osiris' story emphasized that death wasn't the end but a transition. His connection to fertility highlighted the eternal cycle of life, death, and renewal. We can't talk about Osiris without mentioning his better half, Isis. She's often depicted as a beautiful woman wearing a crown topped with either a sun disk or cow horns, much like Hathor. But Isis was much more than just a pretty face. She was the embodiment of feminine power and magic. Isis was revered as the goddess of motherhood, magic, healing, and of course love. She was the ultimate protector, fiercely devoted to her husband and child. Remember how we talked about Isis piecing Osiris back together? Well, that act cemented her status as a powerful sorceress, capable of even defying death itself. But her connection to love and sexuality goes even deeper. You see, It was through her magical prowess and unwavering love that she was able to conceive a son, Horus, with Osiris, even after his death. This act of conception and birth, born out of love and magic, solidified Isis's position as a goddess of fertility and motherhood. Temples dedicated to Isis became places where people sought healing, guidance, and perhaps even a little help in the love department. Her image was believed to possess protective powers, particularly for women and children. Isis's story is a testament to the power of love, devotion, and feminine strength. She reminds us that even in the face of immense loss, hope and renewal are possible. Now let's meet Bes, the protector of all things fun and frisky. Unlike the other gods we've talked about, Bes was a bit of a, well, let's just say he stood out from the crowd. Imagine this, a dwarf-like figure with a big head, wild hair and a beard, often depicted sticking out his tongue or sporting a mischievous grin. Not your typical image of a god, right? But looks can be deceiving. Bes might not have been conventionally attractive, but he was considered a powerful protector, especially when it came to matters of, shall we say, intimacy. You see, Bes was all about warding off evil spirits and bad vibes. He was the ultimate wingman, ensuring that everything went smoothly in the bedroom. Ancient Egyptians believed that Bes protected women during childbirth, ensuring safe deliveries and healthy babies. He was like the divine midwife, cheering everyone on from the sidelines. But Bes's protective powers extended beyond childbirth. Households across Egypt displayed images of Bes to ward off evil and promote good luck, especially in matters of love, marriage, and, you guessed it, sex. Think of him as the ancient Egyptian equivalent of a lucky rabbit's foot. But instead of a foot, it's a mischievous dwarf god. Finally, let's talk about Min, a god who wasn't afraid to, how shall I put this delicately, show off his assets. Min was the god of fertility, the harvest, and let's just say, male virility. Now, depictions of Min can be a bit, well, let's just say they're hard to miss. He's often shown with an erect phallus, emphasizing his role as a god of, procreation. But Min wasn't just about, well, you know. He was also associated with the annual flooding of the Nile, a vital event that ensured a bountiful harvest. The ancient Egyptians understood that fertility, both human and agricultural, was essential for the continuation of life and their civilization. And Min embodied that connection between the land's fertility and their own. Festivals dedicated to Min were, shall we say, lively affairs. They often involved processions of people carrying statues of the god, with his prominent attribute on full display. These festivals were a celebration of life, abundance, and the generative power of, well, you get the idea. So while Min might not be as well known as some of the other gods on our list, his role in ancient Egyptian religion was no less important. He served as a potent reminder of the interconnectedness of sexuality, fertility, and the natural world. From Hathor's celebration of love and pleasure, to Osiris's connection to death and resurrection, and from Isis's embodiment of feminine power, to Bes's role as protector of intimacy, and Min's association with fertility. These gods offer a glimpse into a culture that views sexuality as an integral part of life, death, and the cosmos. So, the next time you encounter ancient Egyptian art or mythology, take a closer look. You might be surprised by the subtle and not so subtle nods to these fascinating deities and their enduring influence on our understanding of love, sexuality, and the human experience. If you enjoyed this journey through ancient Egyptian mythology, be sure to check out my video about the mysteries of sacred sexuality in ancient cultures. And let me know in the comments below which of these gods you found most intriguing. Until next time, keep exploring the wonders of the universe, both big and small.